everybody, it's the War Hipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial, and today we are painting Zoggrok Anvilsmasha, and of course, Klonk. Yes, he's the real headline. But we do have to get through Zoggrok first before we can get to Klonk. So that's exactly what we are going to do. He's been sent to me early by Games Workshop to build up and paint for all of you, and that is exactly what we are doing now. They've both been primed in Wraithbone, and the colour we're going to be using first is Gutrippa Flesh, and we're going to be applying this over the top of all of Zoggrok's skin. And as I've already kind of mentioned, we're going to be painting all of Zoggrok up first, and then once he's all done, we will paint up Klonk. But for now, you just want to focus on the main man himself. So once that Gutrippa Flesh is all applied, what we're going to do is we're going to take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Cygor Brown and Contrast Medium. I'm going to apply this over the top of these straps on the front here and the kind of butcher's apron. Like this, as well as all of his little pouches. So with that Cygor Brown all applied, the Gutrippa Flesh should be fully dry, so what we're going to do is we're going to take some Athonian Camoshade. I'm going to use this to shade all of that Gutrippa Flesh. So with that now done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Ironjawz Yellow, and we're going to apply this over the top of, well, all of the yellow armour. So this is going to be this boot down here, as well as the kind of the shin guard. It's going to be the large piece on his back and shoulders. And it's also going to be his other shoe, but not the whole kind of shin guard area. So with all that Ironjawz Yellow applied, we're then going to take some Black Legion, and we're going to apply this over, well, a couple of different details. So firstly, what we're going to do is we're going to apply this over the top of the trousers. Like so. We're going to apply this over the top of some of the armor plates. Just going to get this trouser done. go. Like this. We're going to apply this over the top of any of the little armor straps that there are. So there's one here, for example, and there's one just down here. And there's a pretty big one, or two, on his back as well. But when it comes to those armor plates, we're not going to apply this over the leg down here. What we are going to do is we're going to apply this over the top of these little kind of teethy bits. Just there like that. We're going to apply this over this kind of overlapping bit of arm. Like that. And we're going to apply this over the entirety of this bracer here on this arm. So with that all done, we're then going to take some Agrax Earthshade and we're going to apply this over the top of all of the kind of soft wraps on his arms and on his weapons. Like that. Make sure we get right under there. Like so. And we're also going to apply this over his teeth. And with that done, we're then going to take some Wyldwood. I'm going to apply this over the top of the wood on the hammer. And so with that now done, we're then going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors and we're going to apply this over the top of pretty much all our remaining details. The only thing we're not going to paint this over is the little kind of fiery smoke trail coming out of that bucket on his back. Just here. But we are going to apply over the bucket. So with all that Iron Warriors applied, just whilst we're waiting for it to dry, we're going to take two colours, Iyanden Yellow and Gryph-Hound Orange. And we're going to apply this over the flame. So we're going to start with the Iyanden Yellow in here, like this. I'm going to apply this over the top. Like that. Then we're going to wash the brush and then grab some Gryph-Hound Orange, and then towards the top we're going to apply the Gryph-Hound Orange of both of our little flames, like so. Wash the brush, grab a little bit more Iyanden Yellow, and then just use this to kind of blend the two colours together. And so with that now done, we're going to then take some thinned down Fulgurite Copper, and we're going to apply this over the top of this large tooth just here. Like that. We're going to apply it over the teeth on the tongs. Like that. As well as to the little nose ring. Like so. And to the ears of the tongs as well. So with that done, we've got all of our base coats now on Zoggrok. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some shades, and the first one of these is going to be some Seraphim Sepia. And we're going to apply this over the top of the yellow armor like this. But what we're also going to do is we're going to apply this over the top of his brown blacksmith's apron. It's not a butcher's apron. So with that Seraphim Sepia all applied and drying, we're then going to take some Nuln Oil, and we're going to use this to shade the hard black details. So we're just looking for anywhere that's armoured here. So there's that bit of his gob. We've got these areas on the braces, and these little teeth, for example. And with that Nuln Oil all applied, we're then going to take some Agrax Earthshade. I'm going to use this to shade all of the silver and the Fulgurite Copper. So with that done, Zoggrok Anvilsmasha is now what I would call a war hipster battle ready, but we're not going to leave him there. Of course, we're not going to take him to the next level. I'm going to do this by adding some layers and some highlights. Now the first of these is going to be a relayer for all the flesh, and it's going to be a roughly 2 parts Orruk Flesh to 1 part Ionrach Skin. And what we're looking to do, for example, is just in here, is we're looking to relayer this paint over the top of all of his muscles and raised areas. And so with that done, we then take some thinned down Deepkin Flesh, and we use this to just add little spot highlights to the sharpest points in all the skin. So with that then done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Ork Flesh, and we're going to use this to add a little bit of extra colour to his face. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to apply this to the underside of the eye, there, like that. We're going to use this to add a little bit of a jewelly green to the recesses. Like that. And we're also going to use this to kind of fill in his missing eye. And with that Ork Flesh applied, we're then going to use a tiny little amount of Evil Sunz Scarlet. Use this to colour in the eyeball. So with that done, all of the flesh is now finished. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on to our next detail, which is going to be all of the yellow. The colour we're going to be using to highlight this is some thinned down Phalanx Yellow. And we're just going to start picking out all of the edges, including all the ones that are crisscrossing over the flat surfaces of the armour. For example, coming down here. So with all that Phalanx Yellow applied, we're then going to take some Dorn Yellow, and we're going to apply this to the sharpest points across all that yellow. So with that done, the yellow is all finished. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Gorthor Brown, and we're going to use this to highlight the Cygor Brown. With that Gorthor Brown applied, what we're then going to do is take some Baneblade Brown, and we're going to apply this to kind of the lightest points, like for example this top part here of the apron. There's like a little spot highlight. But what we're also going to do here with the Baneblade Brown is we're going to use this to highlight the wood on the hammer, like that sort of thing. And we're also going to use this to highlight these soft black details. This is the areas like the trousers. So with that Baneblade Brown all applied, what we're now going to do is we're going to move on to the solid black details, which is of course the armor plates. And the color we're going to be using to highlight these first is some thinned down Dawnstone. So we're just going to load up our brush here, and much like with the yellow, We're going to pick out all the edges. With the Dawnstone highlights applied, we're then going to take a teeny tiny amount of Administratum Grey. I'm going to apply this to the sharpest points in all the black. With that Administratum Grey applied, the black armour is now finished. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some Thins Down Iron Breaker. I'm going to use this to highlight all of our silver details. And with all that Iron Breaker applied, we're then going to take some Skullcrusher Brass. I'm going to use this to highlight the Fulgurite Copper. And with that all done, Zoggrok Anvilsmasha is now finished. But now it is time for the main event. Yes, we're going to paint Klonk now. So we're going to put Zoggrok to one side. And the colour we're going to be using first is some Blood Angel's Red. And we're going to be applying this over the top of all of Klonk's skin. Starting down here at the tail. Like that. And then we're just going to start working our way over the rest of him. And with that Blood Angel's Red applied, we're then going to take some Black Legion and we're going to apply this over the top of all of the scales and the little claws. With that Black Legion applied, we then take some Agrax Earthshade and we apply this over the top of the teeth. With the Agrax Earthshade applied, we're then going to take some Fulgurite Copper once again. I'm going to apply this over the top of the little thing. Collar, I guess, because it's around its tail though. That Fulgurite Copper applied, we're then going to take some Nuln Oil. I'm going to use this over the top of all of the black. And with that Nuln Oil applied, I'm going to take some Carroburg Crimson. I'm going to apply this over the top of all the red. I'm just going to avoid the bottom lip. And so with that done, we then take some Volupus Pink. I'm going to apply this over the top of the bottom lip. And with that Volupus Pink applied, we're then going to take some Agrax Earthshade. I'm going to use this to shade metallic. So with that done, Klonk is now what I would call a War Hipster battle ready. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a couple of highlights just to really finish him off. And the first one of these is going to be some thinned down pink horror. We're going to use this on that bottom lip. And with that pink horror applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Evil Sunz Scarlet. I'm going to use this to highlight the rest of Klonk. Well, his flesh, not the black bits. And with that Evil Sunz Scarlet applied, we're then going to take a teeny little bit of Jokaero Orange. I'm going to use this to add a couple of little spot highlights. To our red flesh. And so with all of that done, we can now move on to the black, and the colour we're going to be using to highlight that is once again some thinned down Dawnstone, just like we did on Zoggrok. With that Dawnstone all applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Wraithbone. I'm going to use this to highlight the teeth. With that Wraithbone applied, we're then going to take some Skullcrusher Brass. I'm going to use this to highlight. The jewellery. And finally we're going to use a teensy tiny little bit of Gorse Blaster green just to pick out his eyes. There. And there. So with our bases complete, Klonk and Zoggrok Anvilsmasha are now finished. I really like these guys, especially like Klonk. He's absolutely amazing, probably the best miniature in the range by now. But they're really cool. It's a nice characterful model. And I like the tongs. I really should do another one with the sword, as I know that one's a popular one and it looks amazing, but I just thought from a gameplay perspective the tongs were better. I don't know. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to support me a little bit further, you absolutely can do. Head over to patreon.com/warhipster, just like all of these wonderful, amazing people have done. And you can also become a YouTube channel member, just like this incredible bunch of folks scrolling up on the screen before you. There's a hell of a lot of you, and well, I can't do this without you. YouTube and Patreon, you guys absolutely keep the lights on and make all of this worth it. Thank you so much to all of you for everything you do. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.